All right, guys, so this is the mobile click-to-call training, and I've been emailing you about this over the last week. This is something that has really kind of changed my mobile business. Instead of just selling these one-off services, mobile websites, and things like that, what I've been able to do with this system is create a source of a nearly autopilot, nearly recurring revenue in my mobile business, and that is exactly what I'm going to show you guys how to do today. I've set up, like I said, an automated revenue stream using a powerful system that I'm calling click-to-call. It's something I've been using for the last couple of months, and it really is some of the easiest mobile money that I've been able to create. All right, so why mobile click-to-call? So basically, I stumbled upon this method after searching for a way to create a more automated revenue stream in my mobile business. You guys all know, you're all in mobile, you all do offline stuff, and so I was running into this wall of every time I wanted money, I needed to go out and land a new client who was a one-time payment for a mobile website. I have some other recurring things that I do in my business, but I wanted my mobile business to be recurring and a little more automated. I didn't want to have to work all the time for $497 checks and be chasing people constantly. So I also knew that everything's going mobile. As you guys can see this year, things are really starting to take off in the mobile field. Apps are starting to get huge. Mobile traffic's starting to get huge. Local traffic, over 50% of that traffic is from mobile phones right now. So I knew that I needed to find a way and a system to get my clients' messages in front of mobile users. And here's the basic methodology. If you're taking notes, write this piece down because this is kind of the crux of the whole methodology that we're going to go over tonight. Mobile traffic is all about instant gratification. Let me say that again. Mobile is all about instant gratification traffic. What that means is people are looking for answers right now. So getting your message in front of them at that exact moment is extremely powerful. Right? So I started thinking, okay, what if I combined instant traffic, something like Google AdWords or a paid traffic platform, with instant gratification customers, these mobile users, people who are on their phones, out in their cars, browsing for things right now? What if I combined instant traffic with instant gratification customers? That would be the perfect combination, right? You guys all with me so far? It's the perfect combination, instant gratification traffic with instant gratification users, and this is where my mobile click-to-call method was born, right? So I dug around and I found this, and I found this system within Google AdWords that makes this extremely easy. They've already basically done all the work for me. All I had to do was stumble upon this and plug it into my business. And it's called Mobile Click-to-Call within AdWords, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to set this all up. How many of you, just a show of hands in the chat box, how many of you have ever used Google AdWords before? Just a show of hands for me in the chat box. Yes. Dave says yes. Paul, yep. Okay. So I got a few yeses. How many no's? A couple times, Rick. No, a couple no's. Okay, cool. I'm sure you guys have all heard the hype about how difficult it is. You're going to get slapped. It's such a pain. It's a pain to set up. All that junk, right? And 2 years ago, I was running AdWords traffic, generating leads for life insurance companies and a few other things, and basically I was breaking even. I'd spend about $2,000 and I would make my $2,000 back. So it was never really that profitable for me, and it just kind of something I let go to the wayside until I found this method. And just to answer your question real quickly, Robert, we'll have a Q&A at the end, guys, but Robert's asking, how is this different from Mobile Money Bandit by Justin Ellenberg? To tell you the truth, I've never been through Justin's course, so I'm not sure. It very well could be something similar. So yeah, either way, haven't been through his course. So let me dive right back into this. All right, so I'm going to show you why thinking that Google is a pain is the wrong way of thinking. If you know how to use it properly, Google AdWords is one of the most powerful tools that we have. Instant traffic, you can set the campaigns up literally within a couple of minutes and be off to the races generating traffic for your clients. So let's dive in. I'm going to start at the very beginning and walk you through the entire process. All right, so what types of niches does this work for? And a few of you wrote in emails asking me, who does this work for? Who have I been targeting? Well, the short answer is service-based industries, right? Service-based industries. Things like plumbers, roofers, lawyers, plastic surgeons, realtors. Basically, the short answer is anyone who gets their customers using the phone, right? Anyone who picks up the phone and closes customers that way, this method can be used for any of them. What I find is that these service-based companies are the easiest ones to work with. They have their phones on them, especially guys like contractors, roofers, plumbers, realtors, things like that. They always have their cell phone on them. They're always hustling. They're always looking for business. And so those are the easiest ones to go after and target. And how many of you guys got the, let's see, I'm trying to go to my folder here. Just a second. How many of you guys got the lead bonus that I sent out of all the different types of leads that you can offer here? Yes, yes. All right, cool. Yep, got it. Awesome. Can you guys still see my screen here when I flip over to the lead schedule thing here? No, yes. Yes. Okay, awesome. So it's very hard to read. I'll just skim over it a little bit, but use this to your advantage, guys. This is why I gave it to you. There's appraisers, appliances, architects, auto services, catering. I mean, there's literally the sky is the limit with this kind of stuff, and this is exactly what people are paying per lead on HomeAdvisor.com. So right here for stone countertop cutters or whatever, it's $33 per lead. For residential, and it just lists out everything for you to make your life a whole lot easier. And so we'll jump back into the presentation here. Just wanted to kind of go over that. I gave you guys 2 files. Yeah, sorry, James, I know the print is pretty small, but check the email you got from me when you purchase the product, and you'll be able to download that yourself and read through it. That will allow you to scale this up almost infinitely, right? It gives you a whole list of different people that you can target and niches that you can go after. So we just went over that. All right, so that's finding your niche. It works for a lot of different niches. I've gone after attorneys, plumbers, lawyers, dentists, all sorts of different things, and I'll show you guys that here in a bit inside of my CallFire account when I show you how to set everything up. So that's how you find your niche. Go after people who use the telephone to generate leads. Those are your customers. Those are the people you want to go after with this method. Okay, so great. We figured out how to target niches. Now, how do we get those clients? How do we sell those clients? And I'm going to show you, I've gone over this a little bit before, but we're going to use call blasts. And this is what I'm using. This is the easiest way to generate clients for your click-to-call campaigns by far. How many of you guys know what a call blast is? Okay, a few yeses. Few yeses, no idea, no. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what it is. I'm going to show you exactly how to set it up and make your lives easy. So if we go here, this is my CallFire account. This is just one example of a call tracking software, call tracking platform that you can use. This is called CallFire, callfire.com. There's also Analytic Call Tracking by Joe Troyer. You can use Twilio. There's many different options that you can use. The important thing is just get something that can do these voice broadcasts. And so inside of CallFire, if you choose to use CallFire, and all of them are pretty much the same, you go to this Campaigns tab here at the top. So we click on Campaigns, and it takes us to this screen here, and these are all the different call blasts that I've done, some test stuff, some HVAC contractors, restaurants, mobile call blasts, locksmiths, a few different things. What we want to do is we want to go here and we want to click New Voice Broadcast. And it pulls up this little screen here, and what we want to do is for this first answer, so this is, okay, if your customers answer the phone live, and don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to get these phone numbers here in a second as well, so stay with me. This is the message that they're going to get if they pick up the phone live, and here's going to be the message that the software leaves on their answering machine if they don't pick up the phone. Okay, so we'll click Select Message, and go down here. I have a bunch, but I recorded a new one here just for this example. So let me know if you guys can hear this. I'll go ahead and play this message real quickly. All right, can hear it. Let's see. How can I get it to play? It's playing inside my headphones, but all right, well, basically this is what it says. I'll just say it exactly again for you. I say, hi, this is Jack Scanlon calling back again. I've got some leads here in the Denver area that are looking for an attorney here in the Denver market. I know I'm trying to find somebody who wants to take these leads off my hands. I'm obviously not an attorney, so I can't really do anything with them. You know, if you'd like to, you know, take these leads and work with these people, please give me a call back and let me know. Like I said, these are targeted leads. They're looking for an attorney here in the Denver area. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please give me a call back and we'll talk about it. My phone number's whatever your phone number is. And that's all the message says, right? It was a 30-second little message. And here are the keys to that message. So just write this down because this is the key to the whole message. The way that I've increased my response rate on this recorded message is by using those simple words. This is Jack calling back, and I'll write it in a text document here. So this is Jack Scanlon calling back again about the leads here in the Denver market, right? And then you would say these are blank leads, so attorney leads, dentist leads. These are leads looking for an attorney here in the Denver area, right? And then you just close it off with, if you're interested, please give me a call back and we can discuss that. But here is the key to this entire message. This is Jack Scanlon calling back again. And I know it's kind of sneaky, but I'm leaving them a voicemail message, and they think that I've called once before, and so they call me back. Number one, they listen to my message fully. Number two, they end up calling me back because they're interested. They're like, oh, I must have missed this guy's call. Let me get back to him, see what this is all about. And that gives me an opportunity to chat with them on the phone, talk about what they need for their business. Whether or not they listen to my message or not is irrelevant. This gives me a chance to talk to them and to close them and see what their needs are in their business. So model after that. That has really helped increase my open and callback rate on these messages just by using this calling back. This is Jack calling back again. Just that short little snippet has really, really helped me. Okay, cool. So we're going to select this message here in CallFire. So when they live answer, that's what they're going to hear. And then down here, when their answering machine answers, we're going to select that same message. Okay, so recording. We're not going to enable the transfer and the do not call thing. You can select this message that plays. It's a do not call option is chosen by the recipient of your call. Because we're calling business owners, there's not as strict of laws about us calling them, and so I usually disable this. If I was calling households or something like that, that's where you can get in a lot of trouble with this call blast method, because you can't legally just, you know, spam call people with your message. But since we're calling business owners, it's all fair game, and so we can call them. I disable this do not call feature, and then you're basically all set up. You just click next. You can send a test call if you want to. Just hit next. And then here is where you upload your list of phone numbers. And I know a lot of you have this piece of software here. It's the Instant Mobile Leads Machine Scraper. It's just a basic little scraper, nothing special about it, but use some sort of scraper that scrapes either Yellow Pages or, you know, white or Yellow Book, any of those things like that. Or if you want to do it on your own and just go through and scrape a couple of these, it's really not that big of a deal. I'll jump over to Yellow Pages and show you how fast this can go. So if we were looking for attorneys in Aurora, so what I would do is just grab all these phone numbers one by one after it's done loading. Okay, so you have to click inside of the profile, I guess. You can't grab it on the outside. So you grab this number, copy it, and then paste it either to an Excel file or inside of a notepad document. I went ahead and already scraped a little list here, and let's see if it is saved on my desktop so I can upload it. Attorney leads. All right, well that file got output very weird. It's supposed to be an Excel file, but let me jump back over and see if CallFire will let me upload it anyway. All right, so we would upload a file. So whatever your file is, whether it's a notepad document or an Excel file or whatever it is, let me see if CallFire will let me upload this document here. It looks like it didn't render properly, but let's see anyway. Yep, perfect. Okay, awesome. So it uploaded this file, and we'll just use default names for the columns. This is the columns in the file. And it's going to validate the leads for me. It's going to upload them into the system. So we may just have to give it 1 second here while it does that. Okay, pause resolve issues. Yeah, we'll go ahead and so it looks like there's an invalid number in here. If it comes up with any errors like that, you can just go ahead and remove the contact from the list. No big deal. We'll let it finish its thing. All right, so we'll agree to the terms of use, click continue, and it looks like we have successfully imported 49 contacts into our list. So we'll go ahead and complete the upload. So now we have a list called attorney leads. There's 49 of them, and obviously when you do this for real, you want to probably get 150 to 200 leads. This happens very quickly, and it's also extremely cheap. It's 2 cents per minute. So if you have a 30-second message and you send out to 100 leads, that's 50 minutes times 2 cents. You guys are smarter than me. You can calculate that out, but what is it, $2 or something? Something like that, or $1. I don't even know. It's very cheap. Yes, Terry, I'm sorry, I missed your question. There will be a recording, so and we'll also have a Q&A at the end, so I'll make sure and get that recording out to you guys. All right, awesome. So like I said, make sure you do this with a couple of hundred leads. You can either use something like this Instant Mobile Leads Machine Scraper, or you can use a Yellow Page Scraper. There's also, I can't honestly remember all the names of the different ones that are out there, but they're all over the place. There's several free ones. And you can also do this process manually, just like I showed you, by going to Yellow Pages, grabbing the numbers yourself, pasting them into a little file, and then just upload that file right here into your CallFire list. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit Next, and we will call this broadcast Attorneys 2-3, and we'll date it for today. You can label it if you want to, and then here is the caller ID. So they want you to, what number do you want to show up on the phones of the customers? Well, obviously, this is a CallFire number that I've purchased. You can purchase the numbers right from up here. They're $1 a month, very, very inexpensive. So I usually purchase one for every niche that I do so that I don't get them confused. So we'll just go ahead and use that number for now. We'll say dial between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's totally fine. Another trick here, if you don't want them to live answer, sometimes I don't want them to live answer the call. I'd rather my message go straight to their voicemail. So I'll set this up so that my call blast doesn't go out until like 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. it'll call. Most people aren't at the office anymore, and I'll go ahead and send out my messages straight to their voicemail. They'll get it when they come back into the office the next morning, and they'll pick up the phone and call me. Because sometimes when they live answer the phone and they hear my recording that says, hey, this is Jack Scanlon calling back again, you know, are you interested in the leads? And they can't respond, people get confused and they'll call you and ask, you know, what's going on and things like that. So to eliminate that problem, just go ahead and send your call blast out at night when, you know, people are away from their office, and they'll come into the office in the morning, hear your message, and give you a call back. All right, so automatic retry, I usually just leave all of this blank. Then schedule, you can set up a schedule if you want to get really complicated with this, and schedule this out, and maybe you have a list of 1,000 numbers or something that you purchased. You can have it do 100 calls one day and then have it resume the campaign the next day, that sort of thing. So that's basically it. We chose our number that we want, we have our voicemail all set up, and we named our call blast Attorneys 23. So we'll click Finalize. And then it says, what would you like to do? It wants me to re-up my funds. Okay, so view campaign results, see all the details for the campaign you just created. So we'll click View Results. And this is exactly what you're going to see right here. So it's going to show you. And because we scheduled this, it's not going to necessarily send it right this minute. A lot of times if you don't use that scheduler feature, this will start working right away. But let's see what happens here. Let me just refresh it a couple times. Okay, so it's not going to do it right this moment because it's 5:27 p.m. So in an hour and a half, these calls are going to get sent out for me. And what will happen is you'll see all the ones that were live answered. You'll see all the ones that went straight to a voicemail. You'll see all the phone calls that went out. So here are all the numbers that it's going to dial for me, the ones that I just uploaded. It gives you a little visualized map. It'll show you the whole area, so we can see on this map exactly where those numbers are. They're right in Denver, and a few of them are in Colorado Springs. It looks like 12 are in Colorado Springs, 35 are there, 35 are in Denver. Here's the list again. Here's my settings one more time, and then here is the message that they're going to hear. And so when this goes out, this is what will happen. You'll see all of your calls go out once you set that up, and you will start generating calls almost immediately. If you do this during the daytime and you have a list of about 200 people, I would expect you to get probably 10 to 15 phone calls within a half an hour. So when you do this, be prepared, right? Don't set this up if you don't have time. Set this up when you have an hour to sit down, send out the call blast, and answer some phone calls. And then that's all there is to it. The call blast goes out. They pick up the phone. They call you right back, and you're off and running, and you're ready to sell them on the phone. And so that is CallFire right there. And I see Sandy asking that you don't know anything about CallFire and don't have an account with them. That's totally fine. I mentioned at the beginning of that section that there's several different softwares that you can use: analytic call tracking, CallFire, Twilio, several other things. And not only that, it's very, very inexpensive. And they're also being recording. So you'll get all the information that you need, Sandy, when you go ahead and listen to the recording. It's 2 cents per minute and $1 per phone number per month. So I think to send a call blast to like several hundred people is like $5. So it's really not a big deal. This is like the cheapest prospecting method I've ever seen. Let's see, one more question here. Gordon says, does CallFire recognize answering machines and will not give a message if line answers live? It does. It will still do your recording if someone answers the line live. So it does both. It recognizes the voicemail and it'll leave the message, or if they pick up the phone and answer live, they're still going to hear your 30-second message, and a lot of times they'll still call you back anyway because they hear your message. Let's see. James says, do you send a blast just within a city or further out? You can do as far out as you want. I typically like to stay within my region, just because it's easier for me in case the client wants to meet face-to-face or, something like that. And a lot of these local business guys, they want people who are local to their area. And so I like to target numbers that are within my local area. So, all right, any questions about the CallFire stuff before I move on? Any more questions? Like I said, we still got a bunch of stuff to cover, so let me just keep on cruising here, and we'll have a Q&A at the end. Okay, so at this point, we know how to go after niches, service-based industries. I gave you guys a whole list of them. I showed you how to get interested clients by scraping numbers from yellow pages and things like that and sending out a call blast with CallFire. Very, very simple, very, very easy to do, and very inexpensive. Okay, great. So you've got customers coming in. Now what? Okay, now we have to actually provide the leads for our customers. And we're going to do that with Google AdWords mobile click-to-call. And here, let me back up 1 second. When people call you back, let me go over this really quickly about how to close them on the phone. It's really not that difficult. Basically, all you want to do is make the conversation all about generating leads for their business. When they call you back and say, hey, you know, they've already raised their hand, they already listened to your voicemail that said, hey, I've got these leads, are you interested? So they wouldn't be calling you back if they weren't interested in leads for their business. So all you have to do is give them the information they want about the leads, how much you're going to charge them, and say, does that sound good? And sometimes people will say, can we do a trial run of 5 to 10 leads? You say, sure, that's fine. It's still going to be $50 a lead or $25 a lead. And I'll show you how to set up pricing and stuff here in a little bit. It's you can look at the pricing sheet I gave you, and you can also make sure and check Google AdWords because you want to see how much they're going to charge you per click before you tell the client how much that they're going to pay per click or pay per phone call. And so they call you and you just say, yep, I have a bunch of leads. I generate leads on a daily basis for attorneys. You know, if that's something that you're interested in, I can generate you 5 to 10 qualified phone calls, you know, every week for your business. You know, it costs me a little bit of money to generate those leads for you, and attorney leads are pretty expensive, and so I typically charge around $300 to $500 per lead. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but the typical personal injury case is between $5,000 and $10,000 revenue for the attorney. So if it takes, you know, 5 phone calls or 10, even 10 phone calls at $300 a piece, they pay me $3,000 and they get upwards of $5,000, $10,000, even $15,000 in their business, and they didn't have to go out and prospect for anything. I sent those leads straight to them. So that's for an attorney. Let's say you're doing something like a plumber, right? They obviously don't make $5,000 per job. They're probably going to make maybe $100, $200 per job, something like that. The clicks in Google are also going to be a lot cheaper, so you tell that plumber something like this. Listen, yep, I generate plumber leads on a daily basis here in the Denver area. You know, if that's something that you're interested in, obviously it costs me a little bit of money to generate those leads for you. I have to pay, you know, to have those leads generated. Why don't we settle on something like $25 a lead, right? So the keywords or the clicks are probably going to cost you around $1 to $3, something like that. Maybe a little bit less depending on the size of your city for a plumber lead. Pretty inexpensive for those types of clicks. So let's say it takes you 10 clicks to generate 1 phone call, which is very low, by the way. Most of the time I generate a phone call about 1 in 2 clicks with the method I'm going to show you here with Google AdWords. So let's just say, for example, it takes you 10 clicks to generate 1 phone call for that plumber, and those leads cost you, or excuse me, those clicks cost you $1 a piece. Well, you spent $10 and they paid you $25, so you profited $15 on that campaign right there. So that's really all there is to it. Most of the time, these businesses aren't really hesitant to generating leads for their business. They want leads. They need leads. All you have to do is tell them how much it's going to cost, set it up, get them going, and knock it out. And you're going to get enough phone calls using those call blasts that if the first guy says no, don't worry about it. Move on to the next guy. Out of the 10 or 20 people who are going to call you back, you're going to land somebody. It's really not that big of a deal. All right, awesome. So let's see. Sandy's got a quick question. I live in a small remote town, so not sure if this will be good for me if they want local people doing this for them. Okay, when you say small town, are there any big towns nearby, Sandy? No, I live in Whitehorse, YT. Oh, is that Yukon territory? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, honestly, in a town like that, they still need leads. You know, I honestly don't know how big the town is or anything like that, but I'm sure there are tradesmen and people in your city who need leads for their businesses that can come from the local community. So really, 3,000 people. So, you know, you may not be able to scale this quite as high as other people in larger cities, but you're still going to be able to make some revenue for this, no doubt. you'll be able to, the tradesmen and the plumbers and the painters and the whoever else, roofers in your city need leads, and they need to get them from the 3,000 people that live in that town. So it's a lot smaller pool, but I think it's still definitely viable for you. 30,000. 30,000 is even better. So yeah, you got plenty of leads with 30,000. All right, I'm going to keep on going here. So click to call AdWords. I'm going to show you step by step right now exactly how to set up these campaigns. And just to give you a little taste, here are the steps involved. All right? I know that looks like a long list. I'm going to show you exactly how to do all this stuff. But I wanted to give you a little teaser here to show you that there's quite a bit involved, but when you follow the system, it's really not that big of a deal. So let me jump over to Google and into Google AdWords here. And I know a lot of you said you've never used Google AdWords before. If you have a Gmail account or a Google account, you have a Google AdWords account. All you have to do is go in, set up your billing, and with the credit card information, all that stuff, and you are good to go. So if we click on campaigns, let me click on all online campaigns. Okay, so these are just some of the campaigns I'm running from this account. I have several different accounts because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket necessarily with Google. You just want to make sure that you diversify a little bit, because if they shut down one account, you don't want everything that you're doing to be shut down. So this is kind of one of my accounts here. And what we're going to do is click this button right here. Click on the Campaigns tab, and then you click Add Campaign. We're going to do a search network only campaign. So let's click on Search Network Only. And again, guys, if I go a little quick here, it's because we have a lot to cover. You can always listen to this recording and ask me questions during the Q&A. So let's just say, for example, that we're targeting attorneys. We'll just call this attorney. And then there's the standard features and the all features, right? So if you look at this, really quickly, all features, this includes all the standard and mobile settings plus ad delivery methods and all the extensions. So we're going to go with all features. And we're just going to leave that blank. Don't worry about the product listing or dynamic search ads. We are not going to include Google search partners. We just want this traffic coming from Google. And by default, your ads are going to show on all types of devices. But I'll show you how to kind of get around that and just get mobile traffic. Okay, so let's say again that we're going to do Denver. So here you click Let Me Choose. You choose Denver, Colorado, and we'll click Add. So the reach is 1,970,000 people. If you want to get really, really targeted, let's say your business is in a certain zip code, and they only want leads from that certain zip code depending on what kind of business it is, whether they want to travel to their customers, all that sorts of stuff. You can type it in here as well. So 80525 or whatever else, whatever your zip code is, you can target that as well. All right, so then the next thing is location options. So it says people in searching for or viewing pages about my targeted location. Second option is people in my targeted location. Third option is people searching for or viewing pages about my targeted location. All right, so obviously, since we're trying to get customers in a certain location, we want to click the second option, people in my targeted location, because we want people clicking on the ads who are actually going to want to pay these local businesses in the local area. And then exclude pages, people in searching for or viewing pages about my excluded location. We don't have any excluded locations. We're just targeting the Denver area. All right, cool. So next step, languages is English. Shopping channels, just go ahead and leave that the same. Then we'll say I'll manually set my bids for clicks. Default bid, let's just do something like, for attorneys, it's going to be a whole lot higher. So let's just do something like 20 bucks right now. And budget per day, let's do $50 per day. Now, here's the thing, right? You're getting paid when you generate these phone calls, so don't worry so much about the budget. You'll be able to massage these budgets a little bit, and I'll show you the inside of one of my campaigns here just shortly once I show you how to set everything up. If you're spending a little bit of money, which for a higher priced client, you're going to need to do that. For the plastic surgeons and the attorneys and all those different things, even roofers, the clicks are very expensive. And so in order to maximize the amount of clients you can send them in one day, you're going to have to increase your budget very, very high. I typically start mine around like $40 to $50 a day when I'm working with a high-priced client. Then I expand from there depending on the kind of reach that I'm getting with my campaign. So for now, we'll go 20 bucks a click, $50 per day. Let's open up this delivery method here. Now there's two different methodologies here, and the first one says standard, so that's show ads evenly over time, or accelerated, show ads more quickly until budget is reached. I've tested with both. Typically I like to leave mine on standard. What you would use accelerated for is if you're trying to do some sort of direct offer campaign and you want to see really, really quickly whether or not that offer converts with this traffic. So you do accelerated, and then you can scale your campaign up. For this, we want to show ads a little more evenly over time because we're targeting customers in a local area, and that has been working well for me. So I would just recommend going with standard. And then down here, add extensions. What we want to do is we want to choose this call extension right here. So there's several different options: location, product listings, site links, call, social, app, reviews, all sorts of different things. You can add a new phone number. So again, you can use your call fire number that you created. So these are call fire numbers that I've created. So here's a local one. We'll go ahead and just use that one. So that's the number that we'll go ahead and use. It's all set up in the system. When you're first setting this up, you're not going to have any phone numbers listed. You just click add phone number. You put the number in here, and then this is very important. So you do want to click a Google forwarding phone number. This way, it'll be able to use their call reporting feature to see when you get conversions. So just leave that the same. And then here's another big distinction. So when you click both my website and the phone number on show the following links, they're going to have two places that they can click. They can click on the click to call phone number. There's a little button that shows up on the ads. I'm sure if you go on your phone right now and type in attorney in your city, there's click to call campaigns set up. And actually, why don't you guys go ahead and do that? Anybody who's got their smartphone with them, since I can't show you exactly what these look like live on a mobile phone, go to your phone, go to your browser, and just go to Google and type in attorneys and whatever your city is. And you'll see ads at the top, and you'll see these little click to call buttons, and that's exactly what we're setting up here. So if you choose both my website and the phone number, they can click on the headline of your ad and go to the website, or they can click the click to call button and be sent directly to the phone number to call you. Okay, so you don't necessarily want that, because then you're giving your customers an out and they can go over to the website and you can't track that phone number. It also cuts down on your conversion rate for your phone number. Now here's where that would be beneficial. If the customer doesn't want to just include the phone number, they also want to have the website on the ad, make sure that you set it up with the customer beforehand. Say, hey, I need access to your website and we need to change the phone number on your website to my call tracking number, whatever number you're going to set up here, because you want to be able to track those calls, whether they came from the website or they came directly from the phone number. And if you don't change the website or change the phone number on their website, you're not going to be able to track those phone calls. And I learned that lesson the hard way. I was sending traffic to both the website and the phone number, and I lost out on a bunch of leads because I wasn't doing it the right way. To avoid that altogether, you can just click just the phone number. This way, no matter where they click on the ad, it's going to set up a call right directly on their phone. So my recommendation is that just use the phone number, and then you want to do report phone call conversions. I usually do 30 seconds. So count calls as phone call conversions when they last longer than 30 seconds. And again, this is something you talk about with your customers on the phone. If they're not comfortable with 30 seconds, fine, you can work it out. 60 seconds might be good. It depends on the industry. It depends on what kind of phone calls that they get on a regular basis. Like I said, I go for 30 seconds because to me that's long enough to be counted as a lead for them. Okay, so then you want to go down here and it says device preference. Now obviously we're doing mobile click-to-call ads, and so we want to click mobile. And then you can do a scheduling if you want to. I just leave that the same. You'd go ahead and click save, and that's how you set up your phone numbers. So I've already done that with several different phone numbers. They're all set up, they're all optimized, and these are my click-to-call numbers. So that one was listed as 60 seconds. Let's see, this one is listed at 30 seconds. So we'll go ahead and use that one actually. Use this phone number. And then down here, we're not going to set any scheduling. If you have a client who doesn't work on the weekends, obviously they're a 9 to 5 type person, you would delete Saturday and Sunday, and then you would set this up to be from 8 a.m. or whenever they start, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So we would do that same exact thing all the way down here. For this campaign, I'm not going to do that right now, just for sake of time. So you'd set this up on what their business hours are. All right, so ad delivery. Do we want to optimize for clicks, optimize for conversions, rotate evenly, rotate indefinitely? Honestly, I leave mine at optimize for clicks because the whole point of what I'm trying to do is get clicks to these phone calls that generate leads for my business owners. So go ahead and leave that at optimize for clicks. Then the keyword matching option, it says include plurals, misspellings, or other close variants. I go ahead and leave that the same as well because I want to make sure and maximize the searches for my targeted keywords. Okay. Tracking URL for dynamic links, that gets a little bit more complex, so we're just not going to even mess with that right now. And we'll click Save and Continue. So we went over that a little bit quickly, but we covered all the steps on setting up your campaign. That's everything that you need to know to get the basics of the campaign set up. All right, so now we move on to Ad Group. This is the group of ads that you're targeting for your business owner. And if you've never used AdWords before, the key to making this profitable and the key to not getting slapped and not getting bad quality scores is you want to keep everything very tightly targeted. So we were targeting attorneys, right? So let's say Attorney Denver. We'll name the ad group Attorney Denver. If you were doing specifically like car accident attorney, like let's say that was your keyword, you'd want to have your ad group called Car Accident Attorney because you want it related to the keyword. And I'll show you in a second here how to do the keyword research, but this is just initial setup for the campaign. We'll do Attorney Denver for this case. Okay, so we've got a text ad. We want to choose text ad. Headline, you want to make it something catchy and also keyword oriented. So best attorney in Denver. Best attorney in Denver. Oops. That's a good headline. It catches people's attention. I've also experimented with doing something like this. #1 attorney in Denver. Just you want to split test your headlines. You want to set up 2 to 3 different ads to start with and have a different headline. Have the message be exactly the same. Just change the headline and find out which one performs the better. So we'll start with this one, #1 attorney in Denver. And let's say it's a personal injury attorney, right? Been hurt in an accident. Let the and here's the thing, they limit you on characters, so you have to get a little bit creative. And I'll show you some of my other ads. I'm just doing this one off the fly here. Been hurt in an accident. Let us help. Call today, 555-555-5, whatever the number is, right? Then the URL, you'd put in the customer's URL here. So we'll do Springfield. This is just an example. Oops. All right, so it doesn't want the HTTP, so just the URL, and then it'll put the same URL in here. Okay, so that's how you set up your ad. When you set up your first ad, it doesn't allow you to set it up for mobile. I'll show you how to do that in a second. This is just getting all of the settings ready to go. And then for this first keyword, you can just put in, they give you some suggestions here. Massachusetts injury attorneys, or I'm sorry, so they're pulling it from the website that I used. We would do like Denver personal injury attorney. And like I said, I'll show you how to do the keyword research here in a second. Here's our default bid, and we'll go ahead and save that ad group. All right, so that's all set up. I'm just going to go ahead and pause that for now. So here's what we do. So we have our campaign set up. All of our settings are set up. Our first ad is set up. Paul, yes, it does allow you to put phone numbers in the ads now. So when I showed you the website and phone number setting, or just the phone number setting, if you use just phone number, it'll be the phone number in the headline of the ad instead of whatever text that you put in the headline. So yes. So here's what we do. So this is all set up. Once your campaign's set up, it'll redirect you to this screen here. You want to click on Ads, and you want to go back into that ad that you just created, and you want to click Edit. And it says, changing this ad's bad, whatever. Click Yes, I understand. Right here, this is something that a lot of people miss. So you want to go back in, and like I told you, when you first set it up, it doesn't allow you to change this. But you want to go back in, and you want to change the setting, and you want to click Mobile. So this will decrease your cost per click significantly, and it'll also target people that are ready to take action right now. So we'll go ahead and save that. Right now, where device preference is mobile, and you still may get 1 or 2 clicks from desktop computers, but the vast majority of your traffic will come from mobile. There's no setting on Google. They took this setting away about a few months ago. You can't just target mobile phones anymore. You can specify a preference, which we did right here for mobile phones, and probably 90% of your traffic will come from mobile. You'll get that occasional click from a desktop, but it's not really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. All right, cool. So that's how you set up your ads. Then we go to keywords here. Let's say we want to add some keywords, right? We want to get this so that we're generating a good amount of calls for our clients. And I'm just sequentially, we set up our settings, we did the ads, now we're doing keywords. I'm sequentially going down these tabs here so that I can show you exactly how to do this. All right, cool. So Google gives you a bunch of suggestions. I never take their suggestions. What I like to do is go up to this little thing right here called the Keyword Planner. So I'm going to click that. It's going to open it up. And we're going to dive down a little bit deeper into the keywords here. And I'm not going to go too deep into keyword research. Again, we don't have a lot of time. I don't want to take 3 hours on this call, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do it so that you guys can dive deeper into it. And then if you have any questions, you can email me, you can write into me, and also there's a Q&A at the end. And so here's what we'll do. We know that we have an attorney in Denver. We already have the targeting set to Denver. You can edit this right here by clicking that little button and choose the targeting area that you want to go after. All languages. We don't have any negative keywords or anything like that. We leave these 2 other categories blank, and we just click Get Ideas. So Google's going to give us this whole list of different keywords that are related to Attorney Denver. So let's say that your attorney is not a generic attorney. Let's say he's an injury attorney like this one here. So they have an ad group called Injury Attorney. And this helps you set up your ad groups. Remember how we set up that ad group and I said keep everything tightly targeted? So your ad group for this one would be called Injury Attorney because it's tightly targeted to these 30 keywords, or these, I believe, yeah, 30 keywords in this group. So any of these keywords right here, you would want to put in this ad group, Injury Attorney, not in a different ad group because it's not related. All right, cool. So here's what we got. Injury Attorney Denver gets 20 searches a month. Suggested bid, they're saying $165. I have never paid that much. I usually pay around $30 to $50 a click, something like that. A lot of times their suggested bids are pretty high. But all that to say, in a city like Chicago or something, your keyword prices may get up there in the hundreds to hundreds of dollars for these high-priced clients. So what we would do is we go through here and we click Injury Attorney Denver. That sounds like a good one. So you click this little arrow and you add it to your ad group. Personal Injury Attorney Denver, Colorado. Same thing. We'll add that to our ad group. Denver Personal Injury Attorneys, that gets 40 searches. Let's look for some higher volumes here. Personal Injury Lawyer Denver, we'll go ahead and grab that one. Denver Personal Injury Lawyer, we'll go ahead and grab that one. Okay, so you basically get the idea. You go through this list here using the keyword planner. You grab all the related keywords that are related to them, and make sure that you read them because sometimes Google has some weird looking words in here that a real person wouldn't type into a search browser. So just make sure you read them all before you add them to the ad group here. So now, right now, we have this ad group, injury attorney, and we've added 6 keywords to it. Okay. So we want to download the plan, and let's see. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so actually we want to click that. You want to click on the actual ad group. You want to add this. Oops. Okay, sorry. So you click Review Estimates. There we go. Click the big blue button, the big blue obvious button that's sitting there staring me in the face. All right, so these are our traffic estimates. They're saying we're going to get 0.45 clicks, 3 to 160 impressions. Our average position is going to be this, and our cost is going to be about $7.60. That's with a bid of $20. If we wanted to raise that bid, so here's our bid. Let's say we wanted to raise that bid up and go towards the $98 range, right? Then they're saying we're going to get an average of 1 click a day, and it's going to average cost of about $50. Really, these statistics aren't all that accurate. When they say 0 clicks or 1 click, you're probably going to get at least, 4, 5, 6 clicks a day just on these 6 keywords. It's really sort of inaccurate. But what this does is helps you to understand your bid positioning. So this one says I'm going to be in between position 1 and 4 with a bid that high. So obviously I wouldn't want to probably bid that high. By dropping my bid down to $35, I basically still have the same position, 2.3 to 4.3, and I'm only going to be spending about $14 a day. So not a big deal at a $35 range there. So once you kind of play around with that and see what you want to set your bids at, you can save those keywords to your account. So let's do attorney test. We'll just set up this new campaign here. We'll just keep it at our $20 a day, and we'll keep it at our $50 budget. And, oops, did I already set this campaign up? Yeah, it was this one here. So we'll add it to this existing campaign, actually. We'll add it to this one, and we'll add it to the ad groups. Oh, we don't want to add it to the ad group. Add as a new ad group to this campaign. Okay, great. Default bid, $20, and you click Save. All right, cool. So now it's going to take those keywords that we just selected, put them into our ad group in our campaign. So we'll jump back over to the campaign here, and I'll show you exactly how that is. Your plan was saved to your account. So we'll close that. We'll go back over to campaigns. And we'll go inside this campaign here that we just set up. All right, and there you can see, Injury Denver. So there's the campaign that we just added, and here are the keywords that we added to that campaign. So as you can see right now, we'll move on to the next part, which is quality score. So that's how you find your keywords. Really, you want to spread your net really wide with this because you want to generate as many phone calls for your client as possible. So use the keyword planner just like I showed you to drill down and find probably 50 to 100 different keywords that are related that are going to drive phone calls into their business. All right, so once we've added those keywords, Google does something called a quality score. Now, I know this is a little complex, but once you do this the first time, it's really not that big of a deal. As you can see, when I hover over this keyword right here, Denver Personal Injury Attorneys, it's showing me that I have an average quality score, 5 out of 10, and that's what you want. So when you put your client's website in the campaign as the website that you're targeting with your ad over here, so when you use your client's inside of the ad that you set up, you want to use your client's URL here, and here is how you avoid getting slapped by Google. And I'm going to tell you a little trick too. When you're using a local business website that has a phone number, a physical address, all that different stuff, and it's not some spammy site that you set up or whatever, you are never going to get slapped. You're going to have good quality scores. You're going to set it up as long as you try to stay above board and you're not trying to do any loopholes that everyone tries to do with Google AdWords. If you're using a real, legitimate business URL and the site is halfway decent, you're going to get pretty good quality scores. And so when you upload your campaign, what you're looking for, when you set the keywords up, you're looking for an initial quality score of at least 5 out of 10. So these are 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10. That means Google says, okay, yeah, your site's fine, it's all right. Now start driving some traffic. If you get a high click-through rate, we'll increase that quality score even higher. There's several different factors that you can use to increase your quality score. One is your bid. So if your bid is way too low, you can try upping your bid to increase your quality score. Another one is getting your click-through rate high. So once you start generating clicks and impressions, that's how you improve your quality score. So any questions on that? I'm going to jump over and I'm going to show you an actual campaign that I've set up. This was just kind of showing you exactly how to set everything up, how to get your campaign up and running, how to set up your ad, how to make sure it's mobile optimized, and how to make sure that your quality scores are good out the gate. So before I move on and start talking about a couple campaigns I've set up, any questions about this piece real quick? What is the difference between the bid and the budget? The bid is what you're willing to pay per click. Your budget is how much you're willing to spend per day. So hopefully that makes sense. So if you want, have you also tested the content network? For this, I have not tested the content network. I've done a lot of stuff with the content network in the past, and what tends to happen is you get a lot more impressions and a lot lower click-through rate. I'm sure this could work if you honed it in correctly, but for me, just using the search has really kind of worked out well, and so I'm just avoiding the content network because it's a whole different animal actually than the search network. All right. Okay, cool. So here's an example of a client that I've been working with a little bit in Springfield. Earlier in December, I believe we were running campaigns for them. Let me go to the main screen, the ad group screen here. Okay, so here's the ad group screen. My default, as you can see, here are my default CPCs. I started at them around 10 bucks, 18 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever it was telling me. I kept my ad groups very tightly targeted. So if we click on personal injury attorney, all of my keywords in here, and it looks like I only have 3. It's the broad match, phrase match, and exact match, which if you don't know what that means, broad match means basically any keyword that has these 3 words in it, Google will target. This is exact match. So if someone types these words exactly in Google, your ad will show up. Personal injury attorney exactly. If someone types this phrase, personal injury attorney, so it could be, where do I find a personal injury attorney in Springfield, right? That's phrase match. This phrase is within that phrase. So that's when your ad will show up for that. So just keep that in mind as you're setting up your ad groups. For this one, we just have these 3 keywords, personal injury attorney, broad, phrase, and exact match. Okay, so as you can see, with this one I had to increase my bid quite a bit in order to get the position that I wanted, and I was in position 3.3. My click-through rate was 0.71, which is not very good. My average CPC was $25.67, and so even though I was bidding $55, I was only paying $25 per click, and this client was paying me $300 per lead. So, paying $25 a click sounds scary, but it's really not that big of a deal when you can generate phone calls for them. So let's see. Quick question: how many keywords do you recommend to include in an ad group? I would say no more than 5. I probably broke that rule a little bit on some of these ad groups. Let's see, here's another one, auto accident attorney. But I would say no more than 5 is ideal, I would say. All right, so let's jump back over here. As you can see, okay, cool. So I think we ran this campaign for, let's see, January 18th, January 5th, so a little less than 2 weeks actually in the Springfield area. And so we generated 1, 2, just the 2 leads from this client. Springfield's a city of about 300,000 people, I think, and so, you know, it is what it is. I made about $600 on this campaign over, minus my ad costs, which was, I think around 200 bucks. Let me find that here. So I profited about $400. Let me look at the ad costs if I can find that. Keywords, yeah, $209.22, and for some reason this is only showing one, but it was actually 2 conversions that I generated. $600, I spent $209. I made a profit of about 400 bucks off of one client over about a 13-day campaign period. And you know, long story short, clients got some other things going on right now, but this is just an example campaign. I've also got one running for a dent company, a divorce mediation group, and several other things. So let's see, a question here. Marie says, how do you choose those 5? Again, you want to make sure and use the keyword planner and tightly target your ad groups. The keyword planner lays it out exactly for you. You just add the keywords into the ad group that are related to the keywords that you're searching for. So, you know, if obviously there's 10 to 20 keywords that are an excellent fit, you can add those to your campaign. You don't have to stick with the 5. I just like to stick with less because it's a lot more manageable for me to go in here and see, you know, go into my ad groups and see, you know, 3 keywords rather than 25 different keywords that I have to sort through and tweak and make sure that they're running smoothly. And so it's just easier to set it up that way. You know, find a system that works for you. With the fact that you're using a real legitimate local business, you shouldn't have any problems with quality scores or slaps or any stuff like that. Just set it up. If you do have an issue, hit me up. I'll help you out with it. Let's see. Dave says, have you tested sending the traffic to a mobile page on their mobile site? Okay, so yes, I have, but the goal of this for me is not to, what I want to have happen is I want the customer to pick up or to be searching on their phone because that's where we're sending the traffic. I want them to click on the ad, and if you click on one of those mobile click-to-call ads, you'll see what happens. Maybe don't go do that right now, but let me just tell you what happens. What happens is when you click on that mobile click-to-call button, your little phone, the call feature on your phone will open up with that phone number in the call or in the call settings. All the customer has to do is click the call button. It connects them to the business owner right off the bat. And so adding a mobile site or adding a bridge page in between there, it just adds that whole other element of like indecision and things. And so, you know, test it out. That's not how I'm doing it, but Dave, it may actually work to do it that way and pre-sell the customers better. That's a good thought. Let's see. Gordon says, by entering the zip codes under the area field, does Google target just those zips? Yes, that's correct. So if you target by zip code, it'll target just that zip code. All right, so let's see. Where was I here? Are you only being charged for clicks and not impressions? Yes, that's correct. So only when somebody clicks on my campaign am I charged. So you can see right here in this ad group, I got 110 impressions, but nobody clicked, so I didn't pay anything. Even though I was in position 2.8, you know, I was pretty high on the page. I was getting good quality scores. I was getting a good amount of traffic and views. You know, for whatever reason, like I said, it's a pretty small town, so I didn't get that much or that many clicks to this campaign. So yeah, I'm only paying when somebody actually clicks on my ad, which again, it's, you know, when they click, the rate for them calling is relatively high. Let's see. All right, so let me go over this. So that's basically all the basics of getting the campaign set up. You have all of your keywords, the campaign set up, you're optimized for mobile, you're targeting mobile phones. Okay, now what do you do with these ad groups, right? So let's look at this personal injury attorney one here, okay? So if you see here, What you want to do once this is optimized and set in is you just want to sit here and watch the campaigns a little bit. Google will tell you whether or not you're paying enough for the clicks. Okay, so if you look at this one right here, I'm in position 7.5. Well, I'm barely going to get any traffic in that position because nobody scrolls that far down the page. I'm only bidding $25 a click, so obviously I need to up my bids. And as your campaign gets optimized and runs a little bit, Google will have this little graph icon. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's called the bid simulator. So if I click on that, bid simulator is not available for this keyword. Okay, so there's no bid simulator for me right now on these keywords, but sometimes they'll have a little bid simulator where when you click on it, it says, hey, you need to up your bid if you want to get more traffic, essentially, and then you up your bid. But obviously, I can tell just by looking right now that I'm in position 7.8. I'm obviously not where I want to be, so I need to bump this up, and I'd like to bump it up maybe 10 bucks at a time. So we'll go $35, and then you see where that gets you. So if you start to see that now, okay, now I'm in the 34th position, well, that's a little bit better. If you're trying to get position 1, keep on massaging it until you hit that first position. So raise your bid, raise your bid, raise your bid. And again, you're not always paying what your bid dictates. So even though I'm bidding $55 here, I'm only paying $25 a click, right? It's just that I'm telling Google, listen, I'm willing to pay more than everybody else who's bidding for this keyword if you put me in the number 1 position or the number 3 position in this case. So I'm saying I'm willing to pay for it, but they're not actually charging me that full amount. And so, don't worry about upping your bids and getting your bids up there. As long as you worked out a good deal with your client for what you're going to charge them for the leads, you should be fine. And this is all, looking at what you're going to be paying per click is all part of what you can quote for your clients. So my recommendation is this. Let's say you want to target attorneys, or let's say you want to target plumbers or something. Go in here, set up a test campaign just like I showed you, see what Google's telling you to bid, what their recommended bid is for these keywords, then send out your call blast knowing that, hey, I can charge, or in order for me to be profitable, I have to charge X to my client. That way you know going into the phone calls how much you need to charge those clients rather than going in blind, charging them less than what you really need to be and ending up losing money. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. I mean, really, that is all there is to it. I went through that quite fast, but again, there will be a recording. That's how you set it up. That's how you find your keywords. That's how you optimize them. That's how you get them targeting mobile. The key to the whole system is split test your ads. Make sure that you get your click-through rates up. So make sure you get 3 ads running at a time and get your click-through rates up. Test out different headlines, test out different copy, things like that that are compelling to your clients. Then you want to massage your bid prices so that you get that. You want to be between the number 1 and the number 3 position in order to get the traffic that you need and generate phone calls. And then we go on to the best part of the process, which is actually getting paid. Let's see. Let me just answer a couple of questions real quick. Gordon says, didn't understand what you used the Google phone number for. Yeah, the Google phone number, I'm actually using my phone number, my mobile click-to-call phone number. Let's see. And it's in actually ad extensions, I believe. Okay, so ad extensions. So this is the ad extension that's showing in my ad when I set up the campaign. And it's showing me that over the last, whatever date range it's set for right now. Oh, the last 30 days. Okay. So 2 clicks, 27 impressions, 7.41% click-through rate. And then this is the actual number that the phone calls are going to. That's a call fire number so that I can track those numbers on my end. But I set up the Google number because I want those calls to show as conversions here in Google. So that's the only reason that you click that Google button. Every time one of those phone calls lasts over 30 seconds, Google's also tracking that number, and they will count that as a conversion here. And it's just a whole nother way of testing and looking at the campaign. Let's see. Dave says, meeting with 2 attorneys on Wednesday for mobile site videos and driving traffic. This is great. Awesome, Dave. Excited to hear that. Good job, man. Yeah, this is honestly this is perfect for this kind of stuff, for attorneys, for these high-ticket clients who are struggling to generate leads. And here's an angle that you can take with that guy, Dave. I've worked with a few attorneys. They're paying for TV advertising, they're paying for billboards, they're paying for buses, they're paying for radio, all these things, right? Radio advertising alone for the one client I was working with was $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month. You think you could generate some leads for them for less than $4,000 a month from this Google Click-to-Call? Just tell them that. Listen, hey, I'll cut your advertising budget by 25%. Let me take over your campaign for 30 days. Let me set up my Google Click-to-Call thing. Let me show you exactly what I can do, and I'll cut your budget by 25%. I already know you're paying X amount for radio, X amount for TV, all these other things. That's ridiculous. Everyone's online right now. You know, nobody reads the newspaper anymore, or something like that. That's a good way to kind of, you know, get them interested in what you got going. Let's see, another question. Marie says, you said the phone number would replace the headline, but how the ad is going to capture their attention with a phone number? What it will do, and it's hard because I don't have a mobile emulator, when you look at these ads on your phone, and this is just based upon experience, right? If you clicked that add the phone number and the website option, it's going to show this exact ad right here, just what you had. And then it'll have right down here at the bottom this little click to call button that they can call for the phone number. So it'll have a headline, an attention-grabbing headline, and it'll have the click to call button. If you replace that with just show the phone number, it'll say call and then the phone number right here. But it'll still have all the rest of your text. So somebody typed in personal injury attorney Springfield, right? They landed, they see your mobile ad, they see the click-to-call button, they see Springfield, Mass. Personal injury attorney, top Springfield personal injury attorney, fast results, call now. And even though your headline is replaced with call whatever, you know, I've seen that maybe, yeah, it decreases click-through rate a little bit, but it also makes sure that I'm not losing clicks out to somebody's website that doesn't have my call tracking number on it. I don't want to be paying for traffic out to somebody's website where my call tracking number is not there, because that's going to lose me money. So, you know, test it, see what works for you. In this case, actually, with this client, I convinced them to change it over to my call tracking number, and so I was actually using this headline and the click-to-call button. But if you can't get that set up, just stick with the phone numbers. That way you're not losing money. Do you use a different Google number for each campaign? Google does that automatically in-house. I don't actually have to select a different number. The only numbers that you'd want to change are, make sure that in CallFire here, you're using a number that you're using a number relevant to that local area, and I would recommend using a different number for every campaign. That way you can track it more easily. Let's see. Dave says, how to charge, not sure I get this. Okay. So here's how I work with charging people, and I forget if this is further on in the presentation or not. But look at that list of leads that list of prices that I sent you, and that's kind of a good indicator. But let's just take this attorney example, right? We're averaging about $25 a click, sometimes $40 a click, something like that. Typically, I can generate a phone call either between 1 in 2 or 1 in 5 clicks. So you just kind of estimate, right? You start high with the client. So for an attorney or a plastic surgeon or something like that, I'd probably start around $500 a click. Or I'm sorry, $500 a lead, $500 a phone call that they get. This is all based upon the conversation you've had with them as well. So when you're talking to them on the phone, one of the questions you want to ask is, well, tell me, how much is each client worth to your business? Right? If they say $200, well, obviously, you're not going to be able to charge them very much per lead. But if they say every client's worth 20 grand, right? If it's a big HVAC company or a roofing company or a plastic surgeon or an attorney, well, now you're in the ballpark, and you say, okay, great. Okay, so how many phone calls on average does it take you to close a client? And they'll say, you know, probably 1 in 10, something like that. 1 in 5, 1 in 10. Okay, so 1 in 10. All right, so let's say that I charged you $500 per phone call, and you closed 1 in 10 of those clients for a 15, 20K revenue to your business, right? So that cost you $5,000, and you generated, let's just say for this example, 15 grand in your business. So you profited 10 grand, you paid me 5, and you didn't have to put any work in. I did all the work for you, right? So that's kind of how I do it with the clients. That's the conversation that I have with them. I start with, how much is a client worth to your business? How many phone calls does it take for you to land one client? They'll usually give you arbitrary numbers, something, in the ballpark. Work with the numbers that they give you. Then say, okay, well, I know because I did my research before I sent this call blast out that either my numbers aren't going to work, this guy can't afford me, or I'm right there. This guy says he'd be willing to pay $500 a lead. I know that I'm going to be paying $25 to $50 a click. As long as I can get him one lead for every 5 to 10 clicks, I'm break even or profitable. So you hone your campaign in, and you get profitable on it. So that's how I do it. I hope that answers your question, Dave. It's not a set price. I don't have like, hey, this is what I charge attorneys, this is what I charge plumbers, this is what I charge whatever. The truth is, I try to get as much per lead as I possibly can. So I ask them, tell me how much you're willing to pay, tell me how much a client's worth to you, and how many can you, yeah, Bill, we're going to talk about billing here in a second, Dave. Malcolm, awesome, man, no worries. I'll send out the recording to you. We're going to go over a little bit more about call tracking and billing and a few other things, but you got the bulk of it, so awesome. Glad to have you in here. Let's see. Let me keep going, guys, because we still have a little bit to cover, and then I'll get back to your questions. So, Gordon, hold on to that thought, and I will jump right back into the presentation. We'll get those at the Q&A section. Okay, great. Now you have a client from your call blast. You set up the click-to-call campaign, and you're generating leads. Now you need to track those leads and actually get paid. So this is exactly what you were talking about, Dave. How do we go about tracking and invoicing these people, right? So we're going to use CallFire again to do this. You can use Twilio, Analytic Call Tracking, and others. Let's just jump back over to CallFire one more time. Oops. And I will show you exactly what it is. And so, right, so for this example here, this was the CallFire number that I set up. If I click on this number, and this was the number I was using inside of my ads, well, here's the call summary of the calls that I've generated for this business owner. We can click on Call Records, and I can see right here every single call that I've generated for that client that was over the 30-second benchmark that I told you about, right? So here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. So there's 4 calls right there that I got paid on, right? And this one I'd probably try to squeeze in there too, 29 seconds. So 5 calls that we got paid on, right? So CallFire automatically gives you that information. Once you set up that number, you just go up here, you click number, you click add number, by numbers. You choose the number in the local area code that you're trying to target. And like I said, it's $1 a month, and then they will automatically track those calls and phone numbers for you. And so it says accepting calls, accepting texts. You make sure you go over to this call settings tab right here. So this is the transfer to number, right? So here's the business owner's actual phone number. Please don't bombard this person with calls, please. I'm showing you guys this on good faith, so please don't call up the business owner and bombard them. But anyway, I trust you guys. So anyway, I'm transferring this number here, 384-9115. I'm transferring it to the business owner's telephone number. I say enable voicemail if not transferred, and then you want to click record all calls, and I think it automatically reset itself for some reason, but that setting was enabled. And then you just click apply, record all calls, and then when you go to call records, it shows you all this information right here. So here's all the numbers that called this person. Here's exactly what happened. Here's the date. Here's how long the call lasted, and that's exactly how you do that there. There's some other platforms as well that do the exact same thing, Twilio, Analytic Call Tracking, and others. And here is what you do to invoice those people, right? So at the end of every week, This is the archaic way to do this, and I'm going to tell you guys a better way to do this. If you're using CallFire or Twilio, you have to do this manually. It's kind of a pain, but it's really not that big of a deal. You go into your CallFire user interface, you see the calls, you take a screenshot of it, you count them up, the ones that lasted over 30 seconds. Let's say there's 5 of them and you're getting $300 per lead. That's $1,500. You invoice your client via email for the $1,500. You send them that screenshot of the leads that you generated, and they either say yes or no. Most of the time they have no problem with it because you are generating calls for them. If they push back on you, that's where you have that proof. You say, look, here's the screenshot of the calls I generated. We had an agreement that every call that lasted over 30 seconds that I generated for you, you were going to pay me X amount of dollars. Here's your invoice, right? So you do it manually. You send them an invoice on a weekly basis. And I like to do it on a weekly basis because waiting a month, half the time you're going to forget, and it's going to be kind of a pain. So bill them on a weekly basis, and that makes it a whole lot easier for you. Let's see. I typically bill clients for calls that last over 30 seconds. Okay, now everything's set up. You have the client, you've set up their campaign, you're tracking the calls that coming in. How do you actually get paid? So I bill clients weekly. At the end of each week, I look at the calls I generated, total them up, and send the client an invoice for the amount they owe. Just keep it simple. Don't worry too much about it. Now here is the cool little ninja technique. If you want to use analytic call tracking, and I actually don't have this yet, I need to get this set up. I just had it all set up inside CallFire. It was just easier for me. But analytic call tracking auto-invoices your clients for you. This is Joe Troyer and Ben Pate's software. I don't know if you guys know those guys. They're really, really great guys. This is called analytic call tracking. They will auto-invoice your clients on a weekly basis for you. So you set it up, you put all the criteria in there. This software will go and invoice the client automatically for you so you don't even have to worry about it. So if you want to fully automate this and scale this system up like crazy, I'd recommend getting analytic call tracking. It's totally worth it. Both ways work great. If you want a manual invoice or you want to do analytic call tracking, either way is fine. So there you guys go. Now you have the entire mobile click-to-call system. You can get clients with the call blast method, set up a campaign in AdWords, track the calls, and get paid. I know that I went over it quickly. So this is the time for questions. Really all that's left for you guys to do is get out there and implement this strategy and make some money. And I'm here to help you guys as well through it. So if there's any questions, please throw them at me now. Like I said, I know I went through it quickly. We've already been on the call for an hour and a half. I knew that I had a lot to cover, so if I skimmed over some things, I apologize. I just wanted to make sure that we had a chance to cover everything. So any questions that you guys have about the getting the clients, setting up the campaigns, the tracking piece, you know, it sounds like a lot of work, but it's only 4 steps. You send out a call blast, you talk to the client, you set up their campaign, you track their call, and you invoice them. That's really all there is to it. Let's see. Gordon says, to target just mobile searches in case prospect does not click to call but clicks the ad to go to the site, is it best to have a standalone mobile site, or is a mobile responsive site okay to use? Yeah, standalone mobile site if you want to. That's a perfect upsell opportunity. So if you say to your client, hey, yeah, boom, we're going to set this up, no problem, I'll start generating leads for you. One thing though, you don't have a mobile site, you're going to get a whole lot higher return if you do have a standalone mobile site. Why don't you let me set that up? It's a $4.97 one-time fee. We'll throw that in and we'll get you going. So that works, or a mobile responsive site works as well. That personal injury attorney site that I just showed you, that is a mobile responsive site, and that was working out just fine. So either way works. Let's see, James says, how do you deal with clients that say the calls they got were not quality calls? You know, I have had people say that before. Here's the thing, right? Their regular call volume, how many of their calls are going to be quality calls? And what do you classify as a quality call? With my attorney, for instance, I had several calls that were sent to them. These were people who had been in accidents, and for whatever reason, the attorney didn't want to take the case. Okay, so does that, you know, should I not get paid for that lead because the attorney doesn't think he's going to be able to win the case? Well, in my mind, I generated the call, I generated the lead, you know, we had an agreement, and so it's up to them to decide whether or not the client's a good fit for them. but I'm generating high quality leads for you, and these are people that are looking for attorneys and looking for help. And another way to answer that question is this. Not every single call that you generate is going to be a home run, but out of 10 calls, 5 to 7 of them probably will be. And so you're going to have those duds, you're going to have those people who are kicking tires or whatever, just like any business. And a good way to do that is lay that out front with the business owner and just say, listen, I'm going to generate calls for you. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to target the specific keywords in this local area. I'm going to do my best to get people that are actually going to sign up for your services. I can't control everybody who calls, so you're probably going to get some duds and tire kickers and some time wasters. Don't worry about that. It's all going to even out in the end when I send you some guys that are actually good paying clients. So that's kind of how I approach that issue. Let's see, Carolyn, Paul just came in late. Will there be a replay in the PDF download area? Yes, there will be a replay. I'll go ahead and send that out to you guys via email. I have all of your email addresses as well, so I'll go ahead and send that out via email. Last year, AdWords, this is, sorry, I can't read your name here, but last year, AdWords disabled all of my ads that had phone numbers in the ads. Didn't you say it's now permitted? Yes, it's working for me. So I'm not sure what happened with your campaigns there. I just set mine up that way, and I'm able to put the phone numbers in my ads, and so I'm not sure. Maybe there was an issue with the account or something. Let's see. Paul says, I'm already doing mobile click-to-call with AdWords to some degree, but I got a few nuggets from this training that will help me better prospect and fulfill services. Awesome, Paul. I'm so glad. Yeah, it's a gold mine right now. People are nobody's really doing this, and it's working really, really well. Let's see. What kind of agreement do you use with your clients? In most of my business, I usually do some sort of email type agreement. I usually don't have them sign any sort of contract because it scares clients away. What I tell them is this: I'm going to generate leads for you as long as you want them. If you want to cancel, call me anytime, and you can cancel anytime that you want to. But when you cancel, you have to pay me all the way up to the leads that I've already generated for you. That's the deal. So I'm going to work for you until you don't want me to work for you anymore. I still get paid for the services I've given you, and so basically I just do something like that. I write that up in the final email conversation with them after we've gotten off the phone. Here's our agreement. Here's what we agreed to, that you were going to pay me. And then I say, if you accept this, reply back to this email that I accept the terms of this agreement, right? So there's no really formal contract, but I do have it in writing, and it's just, hey, I'm going to generate leads until you tell me not to, and you're agreeing to pay me for those leads until you tell me you don't want to anymore, right? So I just keep it simple. Let's see, Daryl says, what message do you put in the blast to get clients? I went over that a little bit, so maybe you showed up a little bit late, but no worries. It's basically something like this. I'll just spit it out one more time. In different variations of this, but it's something like, hey, or hi, this is Jack Scanlon calling again. I've got some leads here in the local Denver area who are looking for an attorney to take on their case. I generate leads on a daily basis, and I'm just looking for an attorney who wants to take those leads over because I'm obviously not an attorney and I can't do anything with them. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please give me a call back at whatever your phone number is, and we can chat about it. Thanks so much. Again, these are targeted leads here in the Denver area, looking for an attorney right now. Thank you so much. Something like that. Keep it simple. Keep it all about the leads and what you can do for their business. Carolyn, what are the best types of businesses to generate leads for? I don't know necessarily that there's any best type. I like to go after the higher ticket clients, the $300 to $500 per lead, so plastic surgeons, things like that. You can also make a bunch of money though doing plumbers, HVAC guys that are services where people need the service on a frequent basis, right? So you can either go for high volume or you can go for high dollar. Those are the two pieces of advice that I'd give you. So high volume would be something like towing, plumbing, things like that, high volume leads. High dollar, maybe you're not going to get as many phone calls, but every phone call you generate, you're going to get paid a whole heck of a lot more money. So I'd have a little bit of a mix of both in there so that you kind of spread yourself and have a nice mix of businesses. Let's see, Robert, will there be a PDF of some of the stuff you have in writing? Some of the stuff you have in writing. Like this course here in a PDF? Is that what you're asking me, Robert? I haven't put anything in a PDF. You guys will get the recording. If I get enough people that want me to do that, I can probably make that happen. So yeah, maybe down the road, but at this point, I can send you the PowerPoint presentation if you want that, and then also you have access to the recording. No problem, Carolyn. Hendrik says debt collectors. Yeah, debt collectors could be another one as well. That's probably a high volume. That's probably a high volume and middle tier lead price. So that may be a good one looking into. Good thought there. Awesome. Well, is there any more questions? We've almost pushing the 2-hour mark here. Let's see, a couple more. To be clear, you're using the client's domain and not a landing page you own. Yes, that is correct. That actually helps me out a lot because their sites are typically already established and they're already got their address on them, their privacy policies, all the stuff that Google's looking for to make the site look legitimate and get you good quality scores. They're already all set up for it because they already have a website. They've been in business for 5 years or whatever. So I just use their URL and I get good quality scores. Now, if you have a client that you run into who needs you to build them a website, just make sure that you look through the Google private or the Google policies. Basically, what they're looking for is legitimacy. So make sure you build the site with a clear intent. Make sure you put the customer's address and phone number clearly displayed on there. Make sure you have a privacy policy, a terms and conditions, and a way to contact them. And that's really, if you boil it down to the basics, that's what they're looking for. They just want it to be legitimate. So, make it a real site, make it for their business, add all those essential pages, and you'll be just fine. Gordon says, does it make any difference to Google for SEO whether the standalone mobile site you're using is hosted on its own domain or whether it's hosted on a subdomain of the main site's domain? Whew, it's a tongue twister. Does it make any difference? Let me read this again real quick. I see. Okay, so in terms of SEO, so a little bit off topic, but it's cool. In terms of SEO, does the site have to be on its own domain or a subdomain? Okay, I hear what you're saying. And actually, there's 3 criteria that Google counts as a legitimate mobile website. Number 1 is mobile responsive websites. That's a fine website. The second is a mobile redirect. And the third is the subdomain that you're saying right here. So any of those 3 types, as long as it's set up properly, is going to be fine and do fine in terms of SEO for Google. Good question. All right, let's see. Any more questions? We're pushing the 2-hour mark here. I want to make sure I let you guys get back to your families and stuff at a reasonable hour here. Any other questions before I go? I know we covered a lot tonight. Covered a lot of material, but I hope you guys got a lot out of this. This is a very, very easy to set up system. I know that it took an hour to explain it, but really, when you watch this recording again and you set up your first campaign, it'll probably take you 20, 30 minutes the first time. After that, it'll probably take you 5 to 10 minutes, and it'll be no big deal. Awesome, Carolyn. No problem. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. Marie, it's 1:40 a.m. Oh, it's bedtime. Thank you so much for spending time with me and sticking on the call. I really appreciate it. Dave, no worries. How can I get the recording? Katerina, I will send that out to everybody's email. So I have everyone who purchased. I have all of your email addresses. I will send out the recording and the PowerPoint presentation to you so that you guys can check this out at your own leisure. Did you say that CPC for mobile traffic is cheaper? What I have found is that yes, it is cheaper. When I click that preference, device preference mobile, my clicks don't cost as much as they do on the desktop version. All right. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much again for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Go put this into action. Set up a call blast here in the next couple days. You'll be surprised how many calls you generate. You'll be surprised when you use my little message that I gave you, how many people are interested in doing business with you. And then it's just a matter of closing them down, getting them set up, getting the campaigns going, tracking your calls, and invoicing your clients. It's really not that big of a deal. And if you guys need anything, please let me know. I think you all have my email address. It's jack@jackloves.me. Let me just throw it in the chat box real quick so that you all have it. But if you need anything or you need some help with stuff or have any additional questions, I'm always happy to help out. So please just email me and let me know, and I'll get back to you. You're welcome, Marie. Thank you so much for being here. Gordon, no problem. Thank you very much. All right, guys, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll get this recording out to you as soon as it's rendered, hopefully tonight, but sometimes it takes a couple hours, and I may send it out to you in the morning. But don't worry, if I don't get it to you tonight, I will get it to you within the next 24 hours. So don't worry about that. No worries, Hendrik. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. And most importantly, go put it into action. That is half the battle. So thank you guys again. Thanks so much for being here. And have a good rest of your evening. Thank you so much.